Good morning, everybody. Let me get the cam going so I can say good morning to the chat. Make this a little bit so you don't have the square. Who am I saying good morning to this morning? Penina, who is first. I have a Wikipedia snippet. The Hellbound Iscariot, thank you. Good morning. Neil, Mariel Bell, and a chair view. Oh, and there's a Malachite. I see you. Good morning, everybody. So it is Tuesday. It's also day 2 of Ronan's training with Schneider and his intermodal stuff. He will have the next couple of days off, and then his actual work week will start on Friday. So he'll be running from Friday to Tuesday. Morning, Fen. Chair karaoke is fun. And you see him back there being a little more active than usual. So, yeah, the news hound is running around. It's 7 days before the estimated arrival date of my new computer. So I feel like a 12-year-old waiting for Christmas Day. I've got my coffee, and I hope you have your brew of choice. Good morning, Rhetorical. Let me see if we can get this Nightbot working here, unless he's on strike again. So let me see what else. There's a video from Barcroft TV circulating around. It appears that our friends, Modern Medusa and Reading Wren, have made it onto Barcroft TV for an interview for their lovely ladies of the men's movement. Although I am happy for them that they are getting more publicity for that particular charity and movement that they are trying to start. in my opinion, Medusa should have been a little more informed as to the issues that she was trying to bring to light for the calendar and for the movement as a whole. When you get ready for an interview, you have to be prepared with statistical evidence as well as other facts to make yourself sound a little more informed and a little more intelligent as far as what your movement is about. Morning, a hair duelist. Exactly, Fen. Not good publicity for us. I am not going to comment as to, you know, how they're going about doing this, because it would be hypocritical, even though some people have complained about the fact that, you know, okay, they're bearing this, they're bearing that, they're making a, you know, a calendar full of, you know, women in poses that are showing off their assets, busts, breasts, so on and so forth. And it would be hypocritical for me to say that that isn't a good idea when firefighters, in order to raise funds for certain charities, have a firefighter calendar where they're showing off beefcakes. Yes, unfortunately, even though I hate to say it, modern Medusa in that particular interview showed that she was more tits than smarts. She should have been way more prepared for that interview. Morning, Aposmatic. How are you doing? So we do have some stories to go over this morning, and my dumb butt doesn't have the Kindle prepared. So, you know, there's always a blooper or two, but then again, you know, it wouldn't be a live stream if everything ran smoothly, correct? Correct. So, let me see if I can get this thing to cooperate with me so I can get this going for the day. I do have a hashtag that I thought was particularly funny. Yes, burn. But those of us that, you know, the people in the live chat that know me know I don't pull any punches, Malachite. And if you do screw something up, I will call you out. I have no problems doing that. Because, you know, when you're advocating for men's rights, you have to do it in a very intelligent way. And there are intelligent ways of doing it, and there are other ways of doing it. And unfortunately, when the other ways get highlighted, the movement gets downplayed as something not particularly important, which is bad for the men's rights movement as a whole. So there is that. Let me shrink this a little so we can get to the stories. There I am. Let me see here. All right. First story. The Kurds pull out of Sinjar. They lost Kirkuk on Monday to Iraqi forces, and they pulled out of Sinjar today. This is the second withdrawal for the Kurdish forces. This is after the Iraqi Kurdish independence referendum happened. Most of the Kurds are Sunni Muslims, and Sunni Muslims make up 10% of the Syrian population, 19% of the Turkish population, 15 to 20% of Iraq's population, and almost 10% of the Iranian population. For those of you that don't know, Sunni Islam is the largest denomination of Islam. Its name comes from the word sunnah, referring to the exemplary behavior of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. I wouldn't exactly call his behavior exemplary, but there you go. Morning, White Rabbit. How are you? That comes straight from Wikipedia. I just took it. I was a little lazy this morning, but it sounded good, so I plopped it up there. The Peshmerga, which is what they're calling their Kurdish forces, pulled out before dawn, and the Kurdish residents are calling the Peshmerga forces sellouts for leaving, but they're hoping the region can now stabilize now that the fighting is dying down and going away. The fighting in that region has been going on for about 20 years, so they keep vying for different swaths of property or territory and things of that nature, and it looks like the Kurds are losing ground by the day, which is either a good or bad thing depending on whether or not you're a Kurd, I guess. Here's another picture of them actually leaving. So the Iraqi forces are gaining ground and kicking people out of that particular region. Now, the next story is about Somalia. Saturday saw twin bombs explode in Mogadishu, killing 302. That is a death toll so far. There are still many missing. They're expecting more deaths. No organization has claimed responsibility, even though analysts expect the Al-Shabaab group has done it, because they are saying that no one else in the area but that group is capable of building bombs of that magnitude. So we're keeping an eye on what's going on over there. Somalia is one of the places that we were sent. They didn't want us there. Yeah, Kurds not getting their way. Yeah, you can't resist that, right? Yeah. Somalia was one of the places that we were sent to, and I still remember some of the horrific pictures of being drugged through the street, the corpses being drugged through the street and stripped and burned and mutilated. And that was one of many conflicts that I believe we should not have been in, because that was just a horrific thing to witness on the news, because they spared no expense in showing what the Somalis were doing to the U.S. troops. And that was just, the pictures were just very graphic while it was happening. And it was just, ugh. Let me see here. Next picture is going to be Ophelia. For those of you that don't know Ophelia, this was the hurricane that hit the UK. It's hitting Scotland and Northern England today. It has left 3 dead and over 300,000 homes and businesses without power in Ireland. This thing could affect the country for days before they can get everything back and stabilized. When it hit land, it was downgraded, but it has also caused delays on rail lines from Glasgow to Edinburgh, London to Aberdeen, and Dundee to Perth. So please be looking out and expect delays on those rails for those commuters going to and from those areas. Neil, we seem to love going to places we're not wanted and avoiding places they want us to be. Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because Somalia definitely did not want us there. They made it perfectly known that they did not want us there, but we went there anyway. In my personal opinion, if they don't want us there, we've got no business being there. We shouldn't go there. We shouldn't do shit there. We need to go where we are wanted, if it is possible for us to send resources there. Cosmetic, kind of guffed. All we got was a bit of breeze. A leaf blew the window, and my cat killed it enthusiastically. It depends on what area you're actually in. So that is what's going on. I will keep an eye on any further developments in that area for Ophelia. Wikipedia, you don't hear about hurricanes hitting that part of the world often. No, you don't. No, you don't. This is one of those rare moments where you actually see or hear about a tropical storm or hurricane hitting the UK. No, it does not happen often. Fenrir, of course, they will not want us where we need to go. Well, of course, yeah. I mean, they didn't want us in Vietnam to a certain extent. At least the North Vietnamese didn't. We know the North Koreans don't want us in South Korea. We definitely were not welcome in Somalia. There's one other country. Started with a B. I can't remember. I'm brain farting. All I got was dumpsters slamming walls. Oh, Mariel. Well, at least you're okay. That's the important part. Let me see. It's an inside job. Okay. The next one. Anybody that has subscribed to Netflix may want to take an interest in this next story. And I have put all the available links that I could find that I use for talking points in the description today, in case anybody wants to read the full stories. I did start out this show reading the full stories, or as full stories as possible, but I want to try and keep the show down a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes max, and that means pulling out the talking points and going from there. So please, if you want to read the whole story and grab the whole context, all those links are in the description. Netflix goes deeper in debt. They've always been in debt, but now they seem to be digging a deeper hole. They borrowed billions of dollars for original programming, such as House of Cards, Stranger Things, and The Crown. Long-term debt totaled $21.9 billion as of September 30th of this year. Exactly a year ago today, they were in debt of $16.8 billion. So they are going definitely deeper in debt. They are planning on raising prices in the U.S. by $1 and $2, depending on the plan, and which could backfire, and they may lose subscribers by the rate hike for the services. So please keep an eye out for that. desperately trying to stay relevant for years, adding new programming, adding original programming, rotating what you can see online for the programming for those that have subscribed for the online-only service. The only problem is every time I click on something saying, you know, what's new for X month, most of the excuse me, most of those movies are movies I've either never heard of or movies that I have seen and consider crap. So, and I know that's because there are certain contracts that fell through, so they can't carry certain movies and things of that nature. But still, you know, when I subscribe to a service like Netflix, I want to see quality movies as well as original programming, which is, you know, the original programming is fairly recent. As, you know, TV series, I want to be able to see whole series. I want to be able to see movies I'm interested in seeing, and not the ones that, you know, they feel like rotating in and out that people have never heard of or that are just absolute crap. I personally think they should start listening to their subscribers more. Rhetorical. They need to get better content instead of all the low-budget South American and Korean shit. Yeah, I agree. That's where they're hurting. The problem is I don't think they know how to negotiate contracts for the other movie companies. Yeah, the original programming is good, but is that enough to keep the subscribers coming in? That's the question. Because, you know, Netflix, when people see Netflix, before they started the original programming, the movies, that they kind of waited to come to, you know, the movie rental places and things of that nature, only to find out that Netflix didn't have contracts with these particular companies in order to carry those movies for online streaming or for rental purposes. And I think that is what is really hurting them right now. People want to be able to subscribe to a service to see the movies that they want to see and not movies that are crappy. Because I don't want to pay a subscription fee to see B movies. I don't. Because to me, it's a waste of money. I mean, really, if I wanted to see B movies, I'd watch the Sci-Fi Channel. Let me see here. And the final one. This is also an ongoing story. Fenrir, well, you don't need to pay when you have a dozen sites streaming for free. Exactly. Fenrir, no need to deal anymore. Just click and watch. Yeah, exactly. Neil, didn't they gimp their rating system due to Amy Schumer and now it can't even make... Yeah, exactly. They did after Amy Schumer. They gimped it horribly. Because, you know, they didn't want to accept the fact that they had a, you know, low budget, crappy ass comedian that isn't funny and hasn't been relevant for years. But what about the B movie? Admittedly, I've never seen the B movie. I've never seen the B movie. You know, to me, if I'm going to watch movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon or The Blob or The 50-Foot Woman or something like that, you know, I don't want to have to pay a subscriber fee, but I will, because those are movies you can point and laugh at, you know, and tear completely apart while you're watching it. And sometimes the fun of movies is being able to pick on them in MST3K style. So, last story. The court agrees to take on Microsoft in regards to emails. Supreme Court Monday agreed to hear the case of governmental authority to force companies to hand over emails and other digital information in criminal probes and investigations stored outside of the U.S. So now they're seeing a case and trying to see if it's constitutional for us to demand emails and other digital information from U.S. companies that are storing things on clouds in other countries. That's the crux of what they are residing over. Morning, Mitch. Glad you could make it. Let me see. The justices intervened in a federal drug trafficking case which sought emails on an Iris server during an investigation. New York appeals court says emails are beyond the reach of a search warrant by a U.S. judge. Well, here's the question. Yes, the server is in Ireland, but it is a U.S.-owned company that is storing these things in a server in Ireland. There's the gray area right there. It's a U.S. country. It's a U.S. company storing things in a server in a foreign country. Do we have the right to serve a search warrant for said materials if said materials are stored in a server outside the country, but owned by a U.S. company. That is what they're residing over. Trump admin and 33 states say decision is impeding investigations into terrorism, drug trafficking, fraud, and child pornography. Other courts are relying on the final decision. So everything seems to be waiting on this particular decision. Morning Fudder. Let me see. There has been pushback from companies due to privacy issues. Microsoft has told the U.S. that they need to bring the laws up to date in order to include the cloud. So we're going to see if that's going to happen. And this is all Forward Communication Act from, get ready, 1986. That's 1986. So it's over a 31-year-old act that was passed. So yes, the act is out of date, obviously, because in 1986 we didn't have the cloud. Let me see. Fenrir, you order the company not to go to the other country to get it. Well, the thing is, when you're storing stuff in other countries, we all know how a cloud works. You click on the information you want, and it winds up on your computer. Microsoft can do the same thing with their servers over in Ireland. They can click to find the information, and bam, it's there already in a Microsoft company office in the U.S. The thing is, do we have the right to come to Microsoft here in the U.S. with a search warrant saying, we need to see what's on that server in Ireland? So these are the laws that have to be looked into by the Supreme Court to be updated and brought up to speed with the currently changing technology in our day and time, which is hard to do because every time you make a law regarding anything having to do with the internet, technology evolves again. Yep, it's in the U.S., exactly. And this is the kind of thing that they are trying to talk about. Yeah, I believe we do too. I believe we do too. I believe we don't have a right to go to a foreign country or a company and, serve a warrant because that's not our jurisdiction. But I believe as long as the company is in the U.S., it is in our jurisdiction and our right to serve that search warrant. Neil, I'm not exactly sure how this should be. Really, it should just be subject to all the same warrants. In my humble opinion, it's a company resource that can be accessed remotely. I agree. Penina, if the company owns the information, it shouldn't matter where it's stored. It's their responsibility. Exactly. I agree with both Neil and Penina Chan in that instance. It is a U.S. company, even though it's on a foreign thing. White Rabbit. Microsoft cares about privacy? I think not. Have you used Windows 10? Windows 10 is what's killing this laptop. So I'm sure that answered your question, Rabbit. I'm sure that has answered your question. Neil, like you should be able to warrant the remote access point technically. Futternut. Simple answer, U.S. does not have jurisdiction on foreign soil. That is the simple answer. The not so simple answer is that is still a U.S. owned company that has a server in a foreign country. Again, that is the gray area that they are trying to, adjudicate, if that is the proper term. Making law for an ever-evolving technology is foolish. It can be, Mariel, it can. It can very well be. Let me see. Oops. Let me see if I've got this here. So we can get to the recommendeds. Boop, 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 boop. Scroll up. First recommended video of the day is Mim Headroom's Bleeding Cool confirms that Marvel Legacy is dead on arrival. This is a video that goes through the sales of not only Marvel Comics to the stores, but from the stores to the people who are actually buying the comic books to prove that Marvel Legacy series is dead before it even had a chance. It's a very interesting video to watch, so please keep an eye out for that. Prince of Queens took out a video called Affirmative Action Annihilated, where he rips into how most people interpret the affirmative action law and how it is no longer working. As a matter of fact, it has, provided an over advantage to women and minorities, and he goes into that as well. Flutternet, don't matter the same as Canadian government cannot control Canadian company property on U.S. soil, vice versa, law of the land. Okie dokie. Mitch, this is covered by the Bill of Rights. Fenrir, it's not like money. Money is in a bank not owned by that company, so it can't be ordered. But we can order you to hand over docs no matter where you put them. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Hellbound, I didn't read that story this morning, but I will be looking into that. I'll probably wind up doing something about that later on today, about Florida and the because of Richard. Well, wherever Richard Spencer goes, he starts shit and he knows it. Let me see. Starbird Disagrees. The title of the video is Orc Slavery Made Me Quit Shadow of War. What the hell? He goes through an article about where someone says they quit Shadow of War because they were feeling rather dirty and because they had to keep enslaving the same orc over and over again. Starbird is a very small channel, but this video was very well put together. It is funny in places, and he does make some very good points. So please check out Starbird Disagrees, and if you like the rest of his content, don't forget to subscribe to him. He is a small channel, and he is trying to grow. Suit Yourself came out with a video on the whole pagan incident, simply titled The Pagan Disappointment, where he goes through an entire timeline of what happened up to current events. So if you want to know the whole story about what happened with Pagan Minotaur, that is the best and most succinct video to date. Cosmetic warning, for fuck's sake, hope Florida man doesn't show up and try to get a blowjob from a gator or something. Oh, man. That is hilarious. All right, so. Good morning, UT 33200. Best old school fantasy series, Dragonlance Forgotten Realms. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I played Baldur's Gate. I still had to change discs out, but I played it. I also played Neverwinter. Those were fun. Okay, so I found the hashtag this morning. Will probably remind us of Batman more than anything. But here we go. Let me see if I can load up the new results without my computer crapping out on me completely. Maybe not. On that. Oh. All right, cool. We loaded. All right, let me see. Finished? Are we finished? Hey, I can scroll. Okay. No, I can't. 7 days. 7 days. 7 days. 7 days. Come on. You can do it. Scroll. Hashtag books on caffeine. I'm warning you, a lot of these are very punny, so you're in for punishment. Definitely in for some punishment this morning. So as I try and get this thing and scroll back over to the right, this is going to be one of those mornings, I think. Come on, I don't have that much stuff open. Let me scroll. Okay, the first one is, how about Forest of 1,000 Lattes, featuring the amazing Jules Wrights. A Dance with Dark Roast. Long Days to, I can't even, Giornali into Night. Tales of Two Latte. No, I stopped watching Discovery. I am not going to subscribe to it. I'm sorry. I did not interest me enough to subscribe to it. Let me see. Starbucks. Last cup of Maxwell House coffee on the left. Stephen King, It Gets Angry Without Caffeine. The Count of Mochaccino. A goblet of coffee. Woman in Flat White. I need to do apocalypse crap. Let me scroll. Days. Just keep your mantra. I love the Orville. I love the Orville. And yeah, I'm not going to frustrate myself. So, let me see here. Not going to frustrate myself this morning. Not going to go through that kind of aggravation. So, that was a short little stint. I finally got caught up on the Orville. Loved it. I absolutely love the Orville. It's closer to Star Trek than Discovery. I'm not going to subscribe to CBS All Access just to watch Discovery, because in order for me to be interested, the character has to be compelling enough for me to relate to the character. And the only thing I want to do to Michael is smack her across the face. And that's not the kind of reaction that, I want from a main character. Other than that, Discovery is dark. It's gritty. It's loud. It's like they rely more on special effects than actual story. I just really don't like it. I have Orville and I'm happy. Yeah, I heard they dropped the F-bomb. I heard they dropped the F-bomb. Okay, let me see. Live stream announcements. Our dear Penina has a double shot at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She's doing 1 hour of Cuphead, followed by 1 hour of South Park Fractured But Whole. So if you want to see some Let's Plays, go ahead and check Penina out later on tonight at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like Netflix, why pay when you can find it on 10 sites for free? Easy. Sometimes those sites can be a pain in the ass, in my opinion. But yeah, you can go to free sites. So I don't subscribe to any of those services. Lots of things are changing. At least the same buzz isn't out there for Discovery. So let me see. I have Netflix for the kids. I use Kodi, no searching, and all free. Okie dokie. So, I can tell you a really good one with almost no issues. All right. No, we will talk about it. Stop saying hella South Park. I mean, there's a lot going on with all these streaming services and with all that, because you've got Fox with an on-demand service, CBS, I'm sure NBC has one. Disney's getting ready to launch one. And what they're not taking into consideration is, especially, YouTube, with them trying to roll out this YouTube TV, is, yes, you do have sites out there where you can stream the stuff for free. Okay? But what they're not asking themselves is the people that pay for services like Hulu and Netflix and other services like that, is they're not willing to pay more money for services than an average cable bill. Because I believe the main reason these people sign up for Netflix and Hulu is because they got sick and tired and disillusioned with services like their cable company, like satellite companies, because they couldn't watch what they wanted to watch. So they found Hulu and they found Netflix, but they don't want to do, Hulu, Netflix, Fox, CBS All Access, and blah, blah, blah. They're not going to continue paying for these subscription services if they're not going to use them. Pausematic. Not to mention a lot of them have the same shit on them. Exactly. People pick and choose whether they want to do Amazon Fire, whether they want to do, Netflix or Hulu. The only thing, in my opinion, that people weigh with these services like Netflix, like Hulu, like Amazon is it worth it for the original content? Because all of these platforms are now rolling out original content. So it's which original content do you want to subscribe to that keeps you using the service? Because you can sign up for 3 different services, but if you don't use any of the services, then you're wasting your money. Once again, we're going back to throwing your money in a garbage bin and walking away. Morning Fuckwad. I canceled my Netflix because I wasn't using it. Exactly. If you're not going to use the service, there's no point in continuing to pay for it. Morning Sir Wolfie. Trending NYT Red. Let me see. Imagine if YouTube TV would let you, after a show, select a video someone posted analyzing the episode, etc. But no, they only put trending of YouTube Red stuff on YouTube TV. Exactly. They're not, being all inclusive, and they're not going to be all inclusive because they don't want somebody reviewing a YouTube TV episode and going, it stunk and this is why. They all think they will have another Game of Thrones. Exactly, Fenrir. Exactly. Let me see here. I barely watch Netflix. I'm about to cancel. That was Jason. Morning, Minty. Thank you for coming in today and visiting us this morning. They do. They all think they have the next best thing. Now, I can't wait till I can sit and actually binge watch Daredevil because I heard that was excellent. I do want to watch a couple of other original programs that Netflix has rolled out. Our choice to get Netflix Hulu was originally for us, but we no longer use. Our choice is to keep for a 6-year-old son tons of stuff for kids. Yeah, exactly, UT, exactly. If you have children, you want to have, children's programs that are on demand because morning dark art, because children, much to our dismay, like to watch the same thing over and over and over again. And even though we get nauseated by watching the same episode of My Little Pony for 15 times in a row, they just want to, hit the replay button. So, it's all up to the kids at the moment. So I have Netflix. Yeah, we want to get to the point where we can actually sign up for a couple of these services, Dark Art. We probably will when we move into our new place. So that's where I sit with these subscriber things. Where I'm sitting right now with everything happening with the Kurds and stuff is, it's good that the Iraqis are claiming more and more of their territory back. I do believe ISIS and Al-Qaeda and, Sunni forces need to be pushed back. I don't believe this needs to be, militant Islam, for lack of a better term, needs to be curtailed and it needs to be stopped in its tracks. So Fenrir, yeah, I use it to distract the kid in the room so I can make videos. That's how your son watches. No. My son's over 20 years old. I'm sure he's well past My Little Pony. That was just an example, Mariel, and you know that. I'm doing all right, Minty. How are you? I don't know what's up with the Me Too thing. I think that might have something to do with Weinstein, but who knows? So let me see. What else do we have to talk about today? Let's see if we've got anything. Let me see if we've got anything breaking on the APN. Cross your fingers. There to go. Fuck it. There it goes. It's loading. Yay! It's loading. Okay. An oddity I can read. Torture myself or my computer. Victim or witnesses. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking into that. He opens up his big fat mouth and he's great with the foot and mouth disease. Let me see. Top news, entertainment, sports, world, U.S. news, oddity. Let me see. That sounds interesting. Let me read that. FBI nabs 2 women suspected of bank heist tried dressed as nuns. Tannerville, Pennsylvania. The FBI has charged 2 women with trying to rob a bank in Pennsylvania's Pocono Mountains while dressed as nuns. 19-year-old Swahilis Pendraza Rodriguez. Why do you have to have my maiden name? God damn it. Melissa Aquino Arias appeared before a judge in Newark, New Jersey on Monday. They are also charged with robbing banks in Garfield and Teaneck, New Jersey, while wearing headscarves. It was on September 28th, while the Teaneck heist at the NVE Bank was on Sunday, where the women were arrested. The FBI says the suspects also entered the Citizens Bank in Tannersville, Pennsylvania on August 28th. One armed with a pistol and demanded money. The woman ran away without money after an alarm was triggered. The FBI posted surveillance photos on Twitter from Pennsylvania heist. Women remain jailed without attorneys on Tuesday. Sister Act 5. Sister... Bad habits, maybe? Oh, sorry about the pun. Let me see here. Cops. Man tried to rob market to get money for drug fines, because that makes sense. Allentown, Pennsylvania. Another Pennsylvania story. Police say a Pennsylvania man broke into a market so he could get money to pay his court fines for marijuana possession. Allentown police arrested Edwin Cuadrado in the attempted burglary at Heresh's Market early Monday. Police say the 20-year-old was wearing a black coat, head covering, and gloves, despite temperatures in the 60s when he threw a heavy object at the market's door. Police say Cuadrado acknowledged smashing a window so he could try to open the store's door, telling investigators he owed money for his previous drug conviction. Guess what? Now you owe more money. Cuadrado remained jailed Tuesday on burglary, criminal trespass, and criminal mischief charges. He hasn't applied for a public defender, but isn't yet represented by that office. Oh, so he has applied, but hasn't been represented. So you're going to rob a place to pay fines. Trump and some others are hinting at something big soon. Is that a given? Yeah, I mean, these are things that I have to, keep an eye out for. 9-minute-old, fairly long. So, and I haven't vetted it, so I don't want to read it until I have vetted it. I'm not reading that word. That word does not exist for me. Let me see. And the last oddity story of the day. Man vows he's penniless in court. Deputies find $4,000 on him. I wish I was that kind of penniless. I'd be doing good right now. Columbus, Ohio. An Ohio defendant who vowed he was penniless and couldn't pay a fine now faces a big one after deputies escorting him from court found he had over $4,000 in his clothes. The Columbus Dispatch reports that 36-year-old Lawrence Knox swore he was indigent during an October 5th hearing after pleading guilty to a drug charge in Franklin County Court. They were all bills. Deputies taking him to be processed for his 6-year prison sentence then found he had $4,060 on him. When the judge learned that, he gave Knox the maximum fine of $20,000 plus court costs. About half the discovered cash was ordered to go to Knox's attorney, Michael Hayes, who'd been shorted on his fees. The rest was applied toward the fine. Hayes declined to comment about the matter Tuesday. Of course he declared fine. He got caught lying. Oh my God. So those are the oddity stories. I figured you guys would want those. AP has those every once in a while. And no, they're not Florida man stories. Surprise, surprise. How shocking. AP tends to have other than Florida man stories, which I think are funny. So bring this up. Let me see here. Move it over here so you can see my face. All right. As usual, my friends, may your coffee ever flow. May your caffeine be ever strong. Don't forget to